All right, so we are live, looks like. So good morning, everyone. I have Lauren Elaine joining me for the first time on our live, and I don't know where Sierra is for our my first threesome going on, but I got kind of a lot of attention on social media. But welcome, Lauren.
Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Good morning or afternoon,
Yeah,
depending on where you are.
yeah. So just why don't you fill everyone in? Like, where are you right now? And I know you kind of go back in between Maui, Florida, and your travel. So where are you right now?
I'm in Florida right now.
Nice. Okay. Business or just relaxing or
Business, yeah. Always here for work. And then when I want to relax, I usually go to Maui or California, where my family's at, or maybe a foreign country, Mexico or Costa Rica or Thailand.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess before we had some topics. I don't know if you want to wait for Sierra to hop in or if there's maybe if you want to, maybe touch on it first. I kind of want to talk about maybe, what did I say? Maybe the importance of money. I guess, some people, a lot of times they grow up getting taught that like money is evil or money is
Yeah.
bad. So what is your thought on that or the importance of money?
I think money's just a tool, in and of itself, it's arbitrary. It doesn't actually in and of its, it now we're digital. So it's not even something physical that we can hold. It's just an exchange of value that we've all agreed upon. And I don't think it's good or bad. I think it allows us to do um, what we want to do and live this life. So I think it's important to focus on, and it dictates a lot of the decisions that we make. So I do think it's important. I don't think it's evil. I think it could be used in theory to do evil things, but that has more to do with the person. And so I think it just amplifies whatever it is you're going to be doing in the world. It allows you to do more of that.
Yep, totally agree. Well, what was your upbringing, I guess, with money? Was there a lot of money talk in your family or?
Not really. I would say that my parents were we were very like lower middle class. Like we always had enough, it wasn't like we were going hungry or anything like that. But I think in some ways, I don't want to throw my mom under the bus, but um she had a little bit of like a scarcity mindset. And I think I picked up a lot of those traits when I was younger, like coming in. That's where like my saver mentality came into play. Like she was always concerned about money and like making sure that there was enough. And she worked really hard. She was a nurse and she did do travel nursing towards the end of her career. And I always thought that we had less money. And then when we were having a conversation after I was an adult, I learned how much money she was actually making. And I was just like, you were making really good money. And so I think the conversations around it were more about scarcity. And then my dad is maybe the opposite. He just is always like, oh, there's always enough. So I had like two opposing views happening at the same time.
Yeah, that for me, yeah, I guess my mom is really the Dave Ramsey mindset, and my dad's a little more on that rich dad, poor dad mindset of acquiring assets. So it's kind of a nice blend, I guess, growing up, having two different thoughts there. But so Sierra finally jumped in. I don't know if you two have actually met
No,
in
we
person.
haven't.
So,
Yeah, not
so,
yet.
so that is my sidekick, or the star of the show is Sierra Smith from Homes and Hustles. So, and that's Lauren.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, it's nice to finally meet you. I was like, I want to do a live with Lauren sometime because I feel like you're such a great guest.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. So where
So
are you? Are you in Tennessee?
That's right. Yeah, I'm in Tennessee. I've been here about almost going on 2 years, about a year and a half.
Okay. Interesting. I'm always curious about the Tennessee market because it gets a lot of buzz.
Yes, it's definitely like a trendy thing, it feels like, where it's kind of like, oh, Tennessee is hot for, XYZ reasons, but it seems like it's always going to be hot for those reasons.
Mhm.
But I'm a little outside of Nashville, about an hour. And so, Nashville has its own kind of hype going around it. But there's a lot of other cities in Tennessee that I think are a lot nicer than Nashville as far as like investing in and just their infrastructure, their cities, all of it. And so it's kind of interesting because after living here for a while, I'm like, wow, Nashville's kind of overrated as far as it just being that tourist spot. Like the downtown's great, but then outside of that, it's not one of the best cities that I've been around. And so I really like Knoxville and I really like Cookville, and there's some others, and we invest in a really small market called Tullahoma. And so yeah, it's been interesting being here for a while, but I do like the tax benefits of being here and the landlord friendly politics. So that part's been great.
Yeah. Where did you move from?
From the Kansas City area.
Oh, okay. Also a great market for
Yeah,
investing.
yeah. Right after we left, it became another really popular one. We did well in the house that we sold there, but obviously kind of wish we would have kept it as a rental.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on the questions. Let's
Oh, okay.
see. No, no, yeah. So Sierra, I know you've touched on it before too, but maybe if you can kind of talk to the audience again about kind of your upbringing with the importance of money. So Lauren kind of just talked about her upbringing on that.
Yeah, so my family didn't discuss money much. I don't know that they ever had much to manage, and so it was more of a pain point than anything that was used to be a tool or to leverage. I have a little bit bigger of a family, like I have three other siblings. And so I think, and both my parents worked in the school system. So my dad was a teacher, and my mom was a paraprofessional. So it wasn't like they were in very lucrative careers. My dad did a lot of coaching, and we were around for all of that. So just very, middle class lifestyle or lower middle class lifestyle. It was tough, but they found a way, to make sure that all of us kids had opportunities. But by the time we got to graduate, we were definitely on our own as far as figuring that out. There wasn't, we didn't have our cars purchased for us. We didn't have our college paid for us. We did all of that on our own. And so I remember when I got into college, that's kind of when I discovered Dave Ramsey. I heard you mentioning him before. And I think that was kind of the first time like anyone in my family got like hooked on finance strategy or anything around money. And I remember kind of thinking like, oh, credit cards are bad. I'll never get one. And I need to, not take out as many student loans. And so that's kind of where I came from as far as my financial education. I definitely didn't know much about it and or how to handle student loans, and still graduated with student debt, even though I had pretty much a full ride scholarship in college. So still managed to rack up some student loans regardless. And I definitely shouldn't have. But at the same time, I shouldn't say we used the student loans necessarily, but having the tuition part covered through student loans allowed us to have the money to buy our first property while we were in college because we were able to, use our side jobs to save up a little bit to put towards a house while we were in school. So I guess it enabled us to do that in some way and then paid off on the back end. But yeah, that was kind of where I came from.
So how did you guys, I guess, mindsets change about all of this? Like for me, it was just for me, it was really the shutdowns that really opened my eyes to a lot of things and started making me realize how, like you're saying, Lauren, like money is just a tool, and it's how you're gonna use it and put yourself in better situations. Even just like some people talk, money is so important. Like you can get better health insurance. You can buy better foods to eat. So it just helps you have a better overall lifestyle. So is there anything that you guys like read a book or is there a circle that you hang around with that changed your mindset on all of this?
For me, a little bit it was being a dietitian because there are a lot of studies that correlate with poverty and health and nutrition and just having access and availability. And so, but I always also, I think when you grow up in, like you were saying, Sierra, like a larger family where you're a little bit on your own and you've had to sacrifice. For me, I grew up knowing I want to know everything about my finances. I graduated high school in 2009, so it was the worst time to be going into the workforce after the 2008 crash. And so for like people that were my age around that time, it really felt like real estate wasn't a safe option, because the housing market crashed. And so there were all of these conflicting ideas around money, around if you do the right thing, you go to school, you get a job, and then you'll be successful. Those kinds of ideas were kind of breaking down at that time because a lot of people that had done that lost their homes and found themselves, out on the streets and jobless at a time because of these larger institutions and that whatever, everything that was happening in our country. And so for me, I really was like, I want to be as educated as possible. And so when I was in college, I was working a lot. I was reading books. So it was really important to me to be able to understand the game of money. And I actually started investing in the stock market when I was 20 or 21, I think. Yeah, I had a woman that I met and she sat me down with another one of my friends and she was like, you guys need to start investing right now. She walked us through opening a Fidelity account and a Roth IRA. And she's like, you guys need to be putting, even if it's just like $50 or $100, because you're in college and you're broke, but it's really important that you start this habit now. So it's a combination for me. It was a combination of luck, but also like timing, circumstance, and wanting to have a better life and not find myself, jobless, in my, mid 40s or 50s or 60s, as a lot of people did during that time.
Yeah, that's
What did, oh,
interesting.
go.
Was going to say, like, you graduated high school in 2009. I graduated high school in 2010. And, but I
Show
didn't have,
offs.
I
You guys are both
didn't have that
bragging.
perspective though of those strategies breaking down yet. And I don't know, maybe it was because my parents were in education and it just felt like it still was very much the correct thing to do to go get, the college degree and work your way up with, the more educated you were, the higher paying job you were going to get, which obviously by the time I graduated, realized that that wasn't the case. Everyone had a degree, it felt like. And the competition in the job market was really, really, it was really hard. And it still is really hard, even though there's so many jobs right now. It takes a very long time to find something that pays well, that you're suited for. And,
Mhm.
um, yeah, so it's just interesting. But I was also like in the Midwest too, where I don't, we had the housing crash, but it wasn't, the prices don't appreciate in Oklahoma or Kansas the same way that they do in a lot of these like coastal markets or other places like hot big cities. And so I don't know that the crash was, I don't know that as many people lost their homes, I should say, during that time there. I don't remember hearing a lot about it, even at that point, and my family wasn't affected by it either. Now, we benefited from it because, like I said, we bought our house in college. And so we bought a house that had been foreclosed upon and had sat for a couple of years. So when we bought in 2012, and it was a HUD house that, we bought for like 60,000. And so we definitely took advantage of that having happened, but didn't really, I wasn't aware of it at the time. So anyways, I was just gonna say that that was interesting. But when we sold that house that we bought in college, that was the first time we got like a big lump sum of money. And, we'd made about 40,000 on it. And I remember thinking like, I can't believe it. Like this coming from like a more scarcity mindset, I was like, this is it. This is our big break. Like we finally have a chunk of money um and I'd just never experienced that before. And so that was kind of when my mindset started to change. I was like, oh, this worked. Like this, we made something happen for ourselves by fixing this property up. And so I would say that was the beginning of the shift of my mindset. And I still was kind of in that Dave Ramsey camp of like, I should use this money to pay off my student loans, and pretty much did. And we spent that money down getting out of debt. And by the time that we got our next house, I remember thinking like, we've done this thing of getting our degrees and getting jobs and trying to work our way up, and we still aren't like getting ahead financially. And I just knew in the back of my mind, like, well, the last time we bought a house, like that paid off. So like we need to make that happen for ourselves again because we need another way to get ahead. And so I think using real estate as that tool to manage our money. And the only way that we had known thus far to be successful was really where I feel like my mindset started to change around how the whole game is played.
Well, let's stay right here. Since I have two successful women investors right now, live, and let's talk about why maybe we don't see as many women investing in real estate, right? Because like Sierra, for example, we went to the one rental at a time Michael Zuber event, and I mean, I would have to say that it was pretty male dominated, the audience. So why do you think more females are not investing in real estate currently?
Ooh. Um, there's a lot of, generic statements I could make or stereotypes I think that go into that. I think that, generally speaking, women don't have a let's just grind it out type mentality about life. They look for something that's got more purpose or really just are more catered to things that aren't quite I don't know. Like I feel like real estate investing is very much just grind it out and you have to wait and it's not as fulfilling until you start getting into it and realize that it's a relationship game and you can, care about your tenants and you can care about providing housing and you can do all that. I think it's just portrayed more as this as a tool, right? That and it's just not as much of a career and at least portrayed that way. So I think that's one thing is it's just not presented in an appealing way to women. But I do think that there's a lot of women doing it behind the scenes. I know that that could just be my bias from being in rooms like at FinCon and the one room a lot of time event, like hearing that there's stay-at-home moms who are trying to manage the nest egg that they have and they're considering investing in real estate and trying to figure out how to do that while still, have the lifestyle that they want. So I think it's happening. It's just I don't know, it's not as common for sure. I definitely have find myself in the comments with mostly men or at the real estate meetups, it's mostly guys and I guess guys can be more handy and stuff like that if they're self-managing properties, but that's kind of my initial thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I think also like at the real estate meetups that I've been to and conferences that I've been to, there are like husband and wives that invest together and usually it is the male that goes to the conference because somebody has to stay home with the kids. And so a lot of times I think the household responsibilities fall on the woman. So it is easier for men to be able to like go out and take that risk. Women, especially if you have kids, you're more in a place of like stability. You're thinking of like, what I got to pick the kids up. What am I going to make for dinner? Even though things are changing and those responsibilities are starting to like equalize in some households, there just is more responsibility on the woman. So if she is already working a job or something like that, it is harder. But I do see a lot of women that are doing it as part of their stay at home or they're doing like furniture flipping and they're realizing that they can do that, they're just as handy and that it isn't that hard. But they haven't ever been told that when they were young. Like I have four brothers, so I'm the youngest and the only girl. My dad works in a construction related field, and then all of my brothers can build things. And I grew up like learning to build, but it wasn't the same thing as my brothers. Like even the narrative in my family, which I would say my family is very progressive. Like my mom always had a career. She was always telling me I could do whatever I want, be whatever I want. But the things that I was being told that I should be is like a lawyer or a doctor or something that is more suited to like what you think of when you think of like a responsible female going into a high powered career. They're not going like, oh, you should become a real estate investor. Or you should really learn these skills of construction and renovation so that you can go and put that into being, buying houses and flipping them. So, but my brothers were told that, they were like, oh, you're so good at construction. You should renovate a house and flip it. And even though they are more skilled than me, I will say that. But, even though we grew up in the same family, the narratives were still different. So I don't think women are being pushed in that direction from a young age. And so it's harder to know that you can do that when you don't see other women doing it.
Well, Hugo said you ladies are gonna make it more mainstream. I don't know. Oh, Lauren, you don't know Hugo, but he's from Stay Winning Podcast. But he said you guys are gonna make it more mainstream.
I love that. I hope so.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I would love to get more women specifically turned on to real estate investing or even just the DIY rehab, fixing stuff up, value add opportunities. Because even if all you have is your primary residence, I think if you're home or have the opportunity to be home and get kind of handy, like you can do a lot of value add to your property slowly over time. And then either, you could do a cash out refinance or sell that property and that's still a great way to invest in real estate without having to go buy another rental property or something. So I would love to get more women turned on to that.
So we have a question. And this from Steven. He said you guys were talking about investing in stocks earlier. So he wants to know what are your thoughts on crypto? Oh, hold on, we have a guest coming in. But you guys can, yeah, I'm gonna let him in.
Well, I did invest in crypto. I actually heard about crypto years ago from a guy when I was in Bali. And this was like long before the like Bitcoin craze and everything. And so I bought like a teeny tiny little piece of Bitcoin back then. And then when, the last cycle happened with all the crypto, I was like hoping, wishing that I had bought more, so I was like, okay, I'm going to get in the game. And I have crypto because it's like, we're not, magicians. We can't predict the future. We're not psychics. We don't know what's going to happen, but I figure, I'll put a little bit and it's not anything more that I'm willing to lose. So I think of it as like, it's a fun little thing that I do, but I'm not doing it as a strategy. It's way too volatile for that.
All right, a party can start now. Joel Farrell has joined us from Strive for 25. So, Joel, meet Lauren. Lauren, Joel.
Hey,
Hi,
well,
Joel.
nice to meet you. I've
Nice
heard
to meet
about you.
you.
It's nice to officially meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Did I miss the answer to my question?
What?
What was your
Was
question?
yours the crypto question?
No, no, it was, when you show up late to a threesome, what happens?
Oh, God.
Oh.
Well, that's why I told you to jump on later. I had to, I had to, I had to, be truthful to my post.
Well, no, SS was a little late, so that's what I was referencing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where her link went. But
My
how you
link,
been, man? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, doing really good, doing really good. Well, obviously, a lot going on, but
You shaved,
yeah,
you shaved all the white hair off.
a, a little bit, just
Yeah.
a couple days stubble,
Just letting you know we're old next to these two ladies.
right? Well, that's why I gotta keep it cut short because then keep the gray out. So
yeah, that's
Joel, where are
Mark's
you
strategy
coming to
too.
us from?
I'm in St. Louis, Missouri,
Okay.
and I'm sorry, I heard you asking Sierra about Tennessee. Where are you from?
I'm in Florida right now.
No way. What part?
Yeah. Do you know a little town called Ocala?
North of Orlando? No, I don't know.
It is, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've got some real estate on the Panhandle area and mortgage
Oh,
business do stuff in different parts of Florida, so I know it decently well.
yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So Lauren has equestrian. She deals with horses, and remember I telling you about the tortoise stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's me wrangling tortoises over here.
I
That's awesome.
feel like you could make that like an experiential thing, right? Like come wrangle tortoises with me for a
I
weekend.
know. They are so cute too. They just like cruise across the yard. Like I see them every day and I'm just like, it's so cool to have tortoises. Like some of them have been on that property for at least 100 years.
what?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they live a long time.
Same age as Joel.
I mean, they're a little younger. Come on, give them a little credit.
Joel, are you older than Mark?
No, he's not. He just
Oh,
looks. He
well.
just looks older than me.
Yeah, I'm 40.
Oh, but so Sierra, I know you're doing some crypto things with your Hive Mapper, and also, what about you as far as crypto?
Yeah, so this is my first exposure to crypto with this Hive Mapper dash cam thing that I just got into. And I don't know that I ever would have dabbled in it if I didn't have like the opportunity to kind of do it with no risk. Like the whatever, the payout is at this point just add on to what I was doing already. So I will say like once I got like the wallet set up and the different apps downloaded to figure it out, I I would consider myself a pretty smart person, and this stuff is like not intuitive. So I felt like it was a little clunky to like try to figure it out. And when I set up my first brokerage account to invest in stocks, I kind of felt the same way, but not quite as much. Like after watching a couple of YouTube videos, like I had it. And then with the crypto stuff, it felt like there was 50 steps to just get from, having a coin to cashing it out and having it in my bank account. And so that was kind of my first thing is like, this is why I think it's going to struggle to become mainstream very quickly because people are not that tech savvy, generally speaking. Even the people who are trying to do this dash cam thing have so many questions and need their handheld, to get it set up and to operate and upload data. And it's stuff that's, you know, you would think that at this point in society, with how much tech we have, it would be a little bit easier for people to navigate, but it's just not. And so I kind of feel that way about the crypto stuff. But with that being said, having $100 show up in my bank account after a week of just, putting a dash cam on and that somehow came from crypto is like, okay, it works. There's definitely money there. So like I have a more of a buy into it now where I'm like, okay, there's something to it. It's obviously working. So I think it's gonna be there in the future. I do think that it will take over more and more, but it's going to be so slow if this process stays so uh, difficult to navigate for most people.
What crypto are they paying you in?
So they're paying in a token called Honey, and then the way I understand it is convert the Honey to Solana, and then I move the Solana over to my Coinbase account, and then I can cash it out.
Yeah. I think crypto is interesting for like foreign countries. We have a very established like monetary system, and in Africa, they never really had landline phones. So they went from like, lower levels of communication directly to the cell phone. And so there are these other countries that don't have the infrastructure of banking. So if you are in one of those countries where you can't get a loan or the banking infrastructure isn't there, I think crypto could be really useful in that regard because it is a way to do banking loans and all of that without having the infrastructure. So I feel like if it does become less clunky, like you said, it is very clunky. Like I was confused when I was trying to buy it and I used BlockFi. They went bankrupt. All of my stuff was frozen. Like it was, and then getting it out was challenging because everything was different and it wasn't letting me transfer it and I was on a deadline. So I completely agree with you. It is so clunky. But I think if they do get it set up, it may not be the iteration of crypto that we know now. It may be more about the blockchain and like the infrastructure that's below it. And maybe they find a way to like, combine it with the US dollar and the monetary system that we have and use like blockchain somehow. But who knows? I mean, I'm definitely not an expert in that in any means.
It's interesting. You mentioned not having the phone line infrastructure, and you hear people talk about solar flares or someone wants to do an attack on the U.S. and hit the power grids or hit satellites and phone systems and whatnot. And that's the one thing, like China doesn't have the same infrastructure of the phone lines where we do. So in theory, communication wise, because we have those phone lines, those ground lines, that gives us a little bit of a leg up if there were some type of major catastrophe. So interesting side note. But crypto, I tried putting money into a KuCoin account, KuCoin, a couple years ago. I never could get it to the next level to be able to get in there. So I just like, okay, this is stupid. I've taken too many days in this. So I've never traded crypto in my entire life because I'm just not impatient enough to figure it out. So
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. It's just not, I mean, at some point, maybe once there's maybe extra money to play around with, that's kind of where I'll probably dabble in. But same thing, yeah, it seems very time consuming or a lot of work to get it set up and figure out how to
yeah,
use it.
I mean, because Mark, you and I both, we talked about this, off air. Just the real estate stuff has been a big part of kind of our journey. And I'm a chart person. I did some trading in the past, and like I said, I'm very impatient, so not the best trader. But like looking at that Bitcoin chart in the moment, I think it was beginning of last year, hit Bitcoin hitting 16,000. Like, yeah, this thing is it's gonna rip off of here at some point. And here we are in the 60, because it hit all time high, right? 70,000 or
Yeah, around
what
yeah.
number?
You impatient?
Just like my gray
Hey.
beard.
Well, we do have a question while we're here. So BuzzTune, so Mikey asks, how are you all preparing in your current markets with your dry powder and watching these economic times?
I'll answer first. I'm trying to build back up my dry powder. So that's it. That's my entire answer. That's what I got.
Your dry powder are they talking about like cash reserves? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a drug question.
I'm like,
Yeah. Hey, where did Sierra go? She's not there.
I mean, I feel like I am not really one to, I always have reserves. So I'm always preparing for the worst. Even in the best of times, I'm preparing for the worst. But then when things are going, really well, usually people think they're going to go well forever. And then when things are going bad, they think they're going to go bad forever. I mean, overall, real estate's on a steady incline over time. There may be some ups and downs, but over time it goes up. So I think you should always be preparing for that, for, things to slow down. If you do Airbnbs, for the Airbnb rental market to go down, to make a little bit less money, you should always be prepared for that. And that's why I try to pay down my mortgages and put an extra payment towards them at least, every 3 months or something like that, to just keep paying down that principal. But I try not to live in fear too. I'm definitely not one of those doomsdayers that think that a presidential election is really going to change and affect my life, because there hasn't been one that has drastically changed my life. Whether it's a Democrat or a Republican in office, I just am focused on like educate myself, learn as much as I can, build who I am as a person up and my skills, so that no matter what the environment is, I have the skills to move forward and pick myself up and keep going. Like, I don't love to be stuck in that fear place, because then that puts it out of my control. And I like to believe that I am in control of my own life.
Sierra popped off for a little while, and Hugo made a very rude comment saying that half the viewers followed her when she disappeared, but she's back.
Those are just me and my alt accounts.
Yeah. But did you hear the top or question, Sierra? Or
Yeah, I saw it in the chat from
okay.
Mikey. So how am I preparing? I don't know that I think of it any differently. Like I just, have picked a strategy and just keep moving forward with it, and not doing anything specific to prepare other than, keeping a pulse on the market, because that can definitely impact the decisions that we make. So, we're on this like third live and flip, right? Where we've sold the first two properties after fixing them up. But, with rates being high, it makes more sense to hold the property. If rates, do come down and, prices start skyrocketing again, that could definitely impact our strategy. So I think, just preparing in that way, where I kind of feel like I'm playing the chess game where if the chess pieces move this way, then I'll know how we want to react. And that may mean we want the equity out of the house if we get appreciation, or if we lose equity in the house and prices were to go down, then knowing how we're going to rent them out to get the most cash flow. And so I think preparing in that way, with the strategy, is really all we're doing. As far as like dry powder goes, getting as much as possible. Like there's
Always.
really only one strategy there is find a way to grow the money for the next down payment. And that's where a lot of the side hustles that I'm testing out come from, just because I have the time and bandwidth to do that right now. And that's something I can do mostly with my son, and that's something that I really want to share, is like being relatable, because a lot of people are in that position where they aren't this like dual income couple with no kids, right? Like so many people have families and they don't have a lot of spare time. And so sharing the things that I can do, in spare time, that's actually lucrative enough to get money to invest. That's where I'm focused.
I got a couple things to follow up on that. So, Lauren, you mentioned, a little bit about, we were talking about politics, for example, and the distractions. And I use the word distractions, right? Like all the polarizing of what's going on in today's environment. And you mentioned just focusing on what you got to do, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. And it doesn't have the material effect on things. And I love that, because it's so easy to get caught up into the conversations and the day to day, and to get upset or get frustrated or excited or whatever. And it's like, okay, I'm going to just focus on what I have to do, and block out the distractions. And for me personally, whether it's like sitting on the couch at 9 o'clock at night, decompressing, thinking I'll just do that tomorrow, versus like, okay, you know what, I know that I need to do this thing to be able to help me get to this goal. Should I do it tomorrow? Should I do it today? And I bring up the politics of just an example, because I could be watching politics on CNN or whatever, and like get caught up in the moment and be distracted and caught up in it. It's like, those are the decisions, the little micro decisions that I've had to make along my journey to build a podcast, to be here with you guys, to even be have the body of work, or the reputation to be able to be here with you guys. It's that decision at 9 o'clock at night to work on the platform, to work on the business, to work on this thing, rather than just I'll do it tomorrow. And so focusing on what you can control, I love that part of it. To follow back up on Mikey's question about the dry powder, this is a piece of that question that I get on my side, talking to some clients, like, and especially first time home buyers who, the people here, we've been through the game, we've bought a property, we've seen the growth, we've seen the appreciation and the fruits of our labor, so to speak. And someone who hasn't seen that part of it and just getting into the game in the unknown, and I'm going to buy a property for 350 and I got to put 3% down, and that's 10 grand, and I got to have closing costs, and that's another 10 grand. It's like, okay, I have 25,000 bucks saved. Now I need to put 20,000 of it into this property. Is it going to go down? Is the housing market going to crash? Like, all the unknowns, all the speculation, and that's the part that I see. Okay, if somebody does have dry powder, wherever you are, do I do something right now? Do I wait? Do I wait till the election? Do I wait till rates go down? Do I wait till prices go down? Like, that's the things that I'm seeing. It's like, there's no way to know any of that stuff, and there's no right or wrong answer. You have to do what makes sense for you. And I put this out yesterday that, the best advice that I can give to anybody is, I use the word trajectory. Like Sierra, in your example, hey, that's why I'm doing these side hustles. I want to be able to build up my more dry powder. Like, if someone's working on their skills, working on their income to be able to ascend or grow, that's one thing. If someone's flat planing or declining, you have less margin for error. And that's how I look at it for trying to advise somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, same thing. I'm trying to build up more dry powder and get prepared. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities coming down the road, and you guys both, you guys all kind of touched on a little bit, like politics and whatnot, and not, that's not going to make things change a lot. It's just got to deal with what the economy's at the time and what deals you see. But I don't know if you guys heard like the State of the Union last night. Biden kind of touched on it about
As an actor.
yeah, well, he kind of touched on it about giving $400 like mortgage payment for 2 years to help new home buyers or people that want to trade up for a little bit more space. So how do you guys think that's going to affect the real estate market possibly?
It's the worst thing you could possibly do. It's the opposite thing that you should do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
supply and demand. Like
Yeah.
you need more housing and incentivize builders. That's what they need to be doing.
Yeah, I don't see that being a solution to the root of the problem, which is that we are short on housing and there already is not enough. And also it could create an issue if somebody's relying on that $400 and they get it for 2 years, and then they're in a situation where they can't afford their mortgage payment now because they're not getting that $400 after 2 years. And what do they do then? Because if they're getting that money and their lifestyle is dependent on it, then after 2 years, they're not going to be able to afford the mortgage payment. So I mean, in theory, it's a nice thing to give people some relief. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are just thinking like, wow, that would feel really good. That would be really helpful. But there still are root problems that aren't being solved by that. But I do think that it's part of like his campaign strategy, because 2 years, that's after the election. So people will want to reelect him so that he can put that into place and have that carry on into the next presidential term.
He's a master of band-aids.
Yeah.
I mean, my student loans are still here, so I'm not really, he can say a lot of things, but that $10,000 didn't come. So, and that's the thing is like just the idea that it could happen, right, is going to, I think, keep home prices from declining until people know, right? Because who's going to drop the price on their home if potentially, a year from now, everyone's going to have this assistance option that is going to make that payment affordable. You might just stick it out for one more year and then hope to make, that you're going to sell at the right time and make the most that you can on it. I don't think it helps affordability any, and it doesn't help there be more entry level houses. So, but I say that, and I want to just, acknowledge that if I were that person, if I was a first time home buyer and I felt like there were no entry level homes that I could afford, that $400 makes a difference between me being able to get in an entry level home or live with my parents, then I'm like, let's do it, because I want the asset. And I will figure out a way in 2 years to be making that $400 extra and and figure it out. So that may mean I get into a house and I pay off my car. So then when the time comes, like I have the $400 or whatever it is, pay off a student loan that then, allows the more flexibility, or hope that wages, increase enough to cover that after 2 years. But so, I mean, I want to say that I understand that. And if I were looking and I were in, I mean, I don't know how to break into the market right now, for most people, if you aren't house hacking. And so I could see that being a way to help people do that, but it's not going to fix the problem like we're all saying here. So it's kind of one of those things that it's going to help people who own those assets. And uh we have to be lucky or feel lucky that we are already in that position.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love that you said that if, because if I were in that position and I was being offered that opportunity, I would be like, yeah, let's do it. I'll take $400 a month to be able to get in. And I know here in Florida, a lot of the entry level homes have been purchased by large REITs. And so it has created a huge issue. So maybe it would help people get into something that is, just slightly above what is in their affordability.
Hey, Joe, talk about that stuff on your channel, man. Don't be getting me canceled talking about our president's being an actor and he can't walk and speak. And no, but I
Uh,
agree. But
uh,
but
do they monitor the comments?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. But old guy REI, Frank Contreras stopped by. So thanks, Frank. And he has a great YouTube channel that he's starting on and building. And he had a great interview with Mikey that he put out yesterday. So go check that out. Also
What's
Janitor
up,
on
Frank?
Fire. Yeah, Janitor on Fire is here. And I forgot to he also mentioned, we were talking about Dave Ramsey a little bit earlier, and he mentioned a book that he really likes. And I want to know if any of you read it. he mentioned Scott Trench's personal finance book. Have you guys read that? No? He thinks that's one of the best personal finance books out there.
Oh, I haven't read it. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah,
Can
I don't
someone
even know
drop it
that I've heard of
in
it.
the comments there? What's it called again?
He didn't put the title. It's by Scott Trench though. Scott Trench is he's from Bigger Pockets.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, an all-nighter hider is here, and he went to Gary, where he's investing with Millennial Mike, and he got to actually he said he heard a bunch of gunshots every night, but he said definitely it's better in person. You know, but so and actually, since we're here, there's a big question I need to ask Lauren, for the new audience, and it's been asked in the comments and other videos, and so people are wondering, Lauren, if you are single. I'm gonna do it live. I'm gonna throw this out there live so everyone can, or whoever's here.
Well, that is very flattering. No, I am not single. So sorry
Okay.
to break some hearts out there.
She already has a tortoise wrangling partner.
Okay. Well, let's move on then. Oh, Set for Life. That's the name of the book. Set for Life by Scott Trench.
Focuses on house hacking. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, I think that's what I would have to suggest to anyone trying to break into the market now is a house hack. And you know, roommates are kind of a hot button issue. It's interesting on X. Anytime someone suggests like getting a roommate, everyone's like, no, I would never do it. And I'm like, guys, in college, like you do potluck roommates. I mean, I know you don't always do that, but like you literally just have the college assign you a random person to live with. And I'm like, it can't be worse than that if you're house hacking. You can screen the people. Like you get to kind of choose. And I'm like, people do potluck roommates all through college and it works out just fine. Like it's all good. And so I think that it's interesting how much pushback there is on having a roommate. And a lot of times in the house that you're in, like you can kind of have your own space and it's not a dorm room. Like you're not sleeping in a bed right next to the person that you don't even know. So I'm like, I think that, mindset around that has to change a little bit. If you really are serious about, wanting to own some real estate and ending up, on the right side of this wedge that's being drove between the middle class and the wealthy, then you can sacrifice for a little bit and make that happen.
Yeah. I think when
Lauren,
you're,
some people are unfollowing you now.
oh no. I'll
Sorry,
just,
go
I'll
ahead. Go
just tell
ahead.
my boyfriend we have to break up so that I can get more followers.
You can just say you're single on camera.
Okay. I'm single, guys. I lied. Just kidding.
Single-handedly
Cool.
changing the Ocala market with your tortoises. Single-handedly dominating that help. Okay, sorry.
Yes,
Lauren, what's
exactly.
your Twitter handle? I'm sorry.
I don't have Twitter actually.
What do I follow you at? I'm sorry.
On Instagram, Lauren Elaine Show is my real estate one. But it's terrible also. I'm gonna just be real with you guys. I'm terrible at social media. I never post. I am so bad at it. I've never even
Oh
had
no,
a Twitter
I
account.
already follow you. Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, you didn't even know because I never posted anything.
Right. No, well, remind me to come back on the whole terrible at social media thing because that's
Okay.
important.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say about the house hacking thing and having roommates. I feel like in college, your experience of having roommates is totally different than as an adult because in college, people are partying and like you might have different lifestyle differences, but as an adult, you can choose people that are working professionals. Like I know some friends that are house hacking and they're all in the medical professional and medical field. And so they're nurses, doctors, things like that. And it just makes sense because they're working all the time. Like as adults, we're not really home that much anyway. So you can choose somebody who's like gone all day working and they're quiet. And you can find a house that is, like you said, Sierra, like separate and you have your own space and it doesn't have to be a big thing. Or also, I suggest getting a cleaner. Like if that's the point of contention, like, oh, the house is messy or something like that, just hire a cleaner who comes in regularly, and it still is so much more affordable, and you can get into that house, and it's a great opportunity. There's going to be a little bit of sacrifice, but it's so worth it if you can just get into your first place.
Yeah, that cleaner thing is a great idea. I haven't heard anyone suggest
Yeah.
that, but that is like, yeah, definitely.
Did you guys see my post on Instagram about Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, the NFL receiver? He retired a few years ago. But I guess when he first came into the league, supposedly he was living in the stadium just
Oh, no.
Really?
Okay.
to save money. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, the stories of him talking about how he would like buy like fake jewelry and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't in the moment watching him play, you think like he's just this extravagant,
Yeah.
whatever, like throwing money around with parties. And now he was like saving every dime. Like
Yep.
it's awesome.
Yep. House hack for the win.
Well, that's a stadium hack, but
Yeah.
not many people have
Right.
access to that.
Right.
So also
Could
Mikey
he,
and Frank are talking about Vegas. So if Joe and Lauren haven't heard, Zuber is gonna do the event again next year in February, same weekend, and this time Joe has no excuses
no
not to
excuse.
show up. Yeah, and I think Lauren hopefully would join us.
Yeah, I'll
And
be there.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's going to be a girls' night.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
if Suleika goes with you folks, you guys are getting arrested, man.
no, it'll be fun. Zuber said Olivia was down for a girls' night. So we'll find something fun to do in Vegas for a girls' night. I think that'd be great.
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun. I'm definitely in.
We'll have like we'll get like the limo and uh I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hire some masseuses or something and be like living the good life somewhere.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait.
All
Chad
right.
Johnson is the man. Every
Yeah.
rookie going into the NFL should be canceled by him.
Yeah, they should. Even there was I forgot. I just saw a story on like a retired basketball guy. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's like a crossing guard now, and he just enjoys.
Yeah.
But no. But I mean, he has a lot of money. He's invested
By
in.
choice.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, yeah,
Look at
and he
it
just
now.
yeah, and he enjoys it, and it's not beneath him, and he's just he loves doing it. But yeah. Oh yeah, Hyder recommends The Creature from Jekyll Island, nonfiction and entertaining.
I've heard of that book, but I have not read it.
Yeah.
Hey Sarah, question for you. So
Yep.
homes and hustles.
Yep.
So where's your focus been in terms of services or offers or helping coaching? Like where are you focusing some of your energy with the platform?
That's a great question. I no matter how many times I try to get away from merchandise, I keep getting sucked back into it by people who want orders. So, I have been fulfilling merchandise orders, and so my focus on what I'm trying to do, uh, which I kind of talked about earlier, like I'm trying to test side hustles, specifically for the means of creating enough cash to invest in real estate. And so I have some things in the works on that. Like I have some children's financial curriculum that I'm developing that I'm going to put up for sale.
Oh, I
Stuff
love that.
that's going alongside anything that I do already. So like we homeschool our son. So I thought, okay, this is something that I'm already going to do. I'll put it together and put it up for sale. So there's things like that. And then, I still get requests for the graphic design. That's the thing about building a business, right? Like once you've built it, like you can't stop people from like knowing that that's what you do. And even though like my circumstances have changed that make it a lot more difficult, like I it's rewarding to be able to work with people in that way. So I've been doing that. But as far as like the homes and hustles and what I'm hoping to do, like I really want to make sure that I am helping anyone get started that wants to. And so when it comes to coaching, if that means finding a side hustle that fits alongside what you already do, I'm happy to help people do that. If that means, walking through the steps of setting up a business or setting up a side hustle so that you have a logo and that you have your social media strategy set up, or you have some understand some of the business end of things like your bookkeeping and stuff like that. I'm happy to help anyone who's interested in doing that. Just because I've walked that path myself, or if anyone wants to know, about investing in real estate, I can, I've done that and I'm happy to talk about it, but I'm not going to advise anyone right on what they should do. But if people are wanting those questions answered, then they can definitely message me.
Hyder says you need to make a support your local baby seal club shirt.
Yeah, yeah. Either I don't know, message me on Instagram or whatever it is you actually message on, or I can get you my phone number. Because I have plenty of shirts that I would love to put a design on for you and ship them your way.
We need Guardians of the Galaxy shirts next year for the
Ooh,
Zuber
yeah, I
event.
like that.
Should we all wear matching uniforms? Like we're a team now?
I like that.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
I
Oh,
can get on Midjourney and see if I can get all of our faces on the Guardians of the Galaxy characters.
Lauren said she'll be Rocket. I don't have to be Rocket
No,
anymore.
you're definitely Rocket,
I
Mark.
am not Rocket.
Do we have a team color? Do we have a team color? We need to figure that out.
I mean, we're both wearing green right now, like matching green. So
I could go with
maybe
green.
You got to show up though, Joel.
Do you know yourself? You're gonna remind me every single day. And there's like 310 days. I told you day one I couldn't go. Day one you told me I couldn't go. This time I told you I'm going.
I even told you to buy your ticket.
It wasn't about the ticket,
Nah.
but I appreciated the gesture.
No.
Joel's going to be there. I mean, as a speaker probably because he skipped because he had a speaking engagement.
Yeah, I know. What's up with that,
So he'll
man?
probably just be there on stage.
I mean, that's the thing, man. Like, I work in the mortgage industry. I do real estate. I know finances. I know this stuff. And I just started doing this thing, podcasts, social media, whatever, less than 2 years. And what's crazy, I got invited to speak about personal branding for this event in front of realtors and entrepreneurs, 70 people, whatever. And I did an event in Florida in March of last year about side hustles, increase income, save 25%, have options to invest. That's the theme, the branding of Strive for 25. And one of the people that was part of kind of helping put the event on, is based out of also Maryland. And just long story short, recommended to another person who runs a real estate team in Maryland, in Frederick, Maryland, and asked me to come out. I've never spoken about personal branding before. So I had to research and prepare and all these different things and learn. And it went better than I probably expected. And, and I kind of going back to the, shitty content, not putting enough content, it doesn't even matter. You can't get good unless you are okay with being bad. You can't get great if you're not okay with being okay. And most of the people just aren't going to do it. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of intentional planning. We all know that, to be able to put content out there that's going to make sense. But if you do it, anybody here is hearing this. If you do it, and my goal, my recommendation was for somebody to put out 365 pieces of content. That's the goal, nothing else. If you can do that, the work will work on you. You're gonna by
mean a
default.
year, 365 pieces in a year.
No.
No.
However long it takes you to get there.
Oh,
Just
okay.
put it out there. That's the goal. Count up. Doesn't matter how long it takes. A year, 2 year, just get to 365. And if you can do that, a lot of good things are going to happen. And
I
again,
love that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How much subscribers are you at now, man, on your YouTube channel?
A lot more than I started with it from the very beginning. I'm not taking that bait.
No, man. I just,
Joel has 14 different social media platforms.
That is true.
It's interesting that you say three. I just went to look at my Instagram because, I only have 142 posts. Now, obviously, I post stuff on my stories, but I'm not anywhere close to 365.
You guys have heard me talk about Hormozy a lot. And, it's so easy to read a book and then not actually put stuff in place and actually do do the things that they talk about or follow the recipe or follow the process. And so there were two things I was, really kind of digging deeper on: Hormozy's $100 million leads, and then also the way that he pitched at the end. I'm not sure. Did you guys watch the live launch of his book? It's on
No.
YouTube. So you can check it out. It's like done so well, but another thing that I dug into was Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets book, which is more funnels and becoming like what does he call it? I can't think. I'm blanking what he calls it. The creator or the central figure person. And you're leading your tribe, leading your community. But like when Hormozy launched his book and like got to the very end, it was like, you're going to get this thing and it's going to cost this much. You're going to get this thing and it's going to cost this much. And it's talking about like the community, the tools, the guides, the book, whatever. And everyone was like building up for this thing to be cost $5,000, $10,000. And he gave it away all for free. Like his book, $100 million leads, it's on all Amazon, all whatever, but it's also on his podcast for free. Like literally giving it away for free, building this brand, building this reputation. So like taking some of those things, I kind of built up to, hey, who knows how to, edit videos? Who knows how to put together a quick, planning your calendar for 30 days of content, which a couple different things like that. And well, who wants a guide for this? And so I kind of built it up to where, okay, if you want access to these three things, these guides, what I want you to do is click the QR code. Damn, I lost Mark. Click the QR code, pull it up. You're going to get to a Instagram post. What I want you to do is type comment income, and then I'll be able to respond back to you with a link to these three guides. And I had 14 people do it. And then a few people come in the DMs and ask for it. And, it was really the kind of the first, opportunity to be able to kind of present it in that way and get some engagement that way. But that's what these top accounts are doing in terms of engagement. They're just giving things away for free, getting that engagement going, and then, building a community of cats.
Yeah, she was making a lot of noise, so she's hungry. This is Princess.
Princess. That's
How many
cute.
cats do you have?
Too many. Go down.
Well, I need you guys to mentor me. You guys are going to be my mentors, my social media mentors. I'll be the like guinea pig example that you can be like, look at, we built her social media for her. Because I just don't really like doing it. I'm not good at editing. I tried. It takes me like an hour to do a reel. I'm just like so not tech savvy at all. And then I always find like 10 other things that I think are more important. But I do see the value of social media, and Hormozy has been obviously a shining example of this. He's just exploded onto the scene and is like dominating that social media realm, both of them. And so, yeah, I do see the value in it. And so my resistance to doing it is I'm like, there is a lot of missed opportunity, and it's such a good way to connect with people. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it weren't for hopping on Threads and just playing around, because that's how we met, Mark. And so now I'm here today. So it really is such a good tool to connect with people and grow your audience and just like be out there. And when you think about, like you said, 14 people like message you or whatever, to be able to get that in old traditional like marketing and advertising, to just have 14 people like reach out to you and connect to you. It used to be so expensive. People were paying a lot of money for this, and now we just have it at our fingertips. Like it's so easy, it is so affordable, and it's like there's no reason not to do it.
Yeah. I that's a good point. Joel, is that the most engagement you've got on on trying to put out a free resource, or have you been able to? Okay, yeah. So I think that just really speaks to how much the in-person stuff matters, and until like when I work with people who are working on their social media, right, and they have a smaller account, just like just what Lauren was saying, like they dread it so much. And that's usually the first thing that we tackle because there's no reason in putting out content that you dread making because everyone sees that you dreaded making it. Like it is not, it's not worth your time. It's more worth your time to go comment meaningful responses on other people's accounts and engage with people and build those relationships than it is for you to build up your own content on your own platform. Um, and so if you like doing that and you're in it for the relationships and the connections, then do that. It's just as important and it will get you just as many results, like being an active commenter, just like Hyder has been, right? Like he still has the connections, even though he didn't start putting out content until recently. And so, um, if you don't like editing, then don't do stuff that requires editing. If you want to put out a post if you just want to share posts and you just want to curate content that you think is relevant to the people that are following you, then I mean, you can do that and you can never create a piece of content at all. Like you can just share stuff. So I think that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of people get hung up when it comes to running their social media platform on it has to be done the way that Hermosi does it, where they build up this huge audience and people want to like buy stuff from them. And that isn't always the goal. And especially when you have a smaller following, the biggest benefit from it is the relationships. And like you're saying, I wouldn't be here either without social media. And so um, I just I think really tailoring it to the stuff that you love and not making it a responsibility or a task that you dread is so key. And you can have the goal of putting out, so much content. But I like that Joel was saying, like, don't put a time frame on it because that's going to make you feel like you have this obligation that you don't want to do anyways. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that when it comes to social media stuff is just I could talk forever on that on making sure that it's aligning with your life and what you want to do anyways, because if it's not, I feel like it's really just spinning your wheels.
Right, these cats are driving me nuts. Well, wait a minute. You said just I got in trouble for not putting thumbnails on my videos from you.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Oh, what are you doing?
Um, Mikey wants to know if paying for an X subscription blue check mark is worth it. And I would love to hear what you guys have to say about that as well, because I've been contemplating it lately. So what do you guys think about the blue check mark? Is it worth it? And if anyone in the comments wants to put their 2 cents in, please do.
I definitely noticed my followers jump up after getting the check mark, but to get to the amount of impressions you need to get monetized, I don't know. I mean, even with the check mark, I mean, it's going to take a while, I think. But my Sydney Sweeney posts have been doing well. So that's been getting me a lot of impressions on X. So that's been
Yeah. There's a guy that I follow, Alex Flynn, who used to be NFT god before he unveiled himself. But one of the things that he put out recently as a guide is, I think it was like $2 or 200 pennies of like, try to get to reacting with bigger accounts, commenting on bigger accounts, and get to 200. Be a reply person on the bigger accounts. That's how you're going to be able to get more impressions. Is going into the bigger accounts and really being consistent and following them. And if you really want to be able to grow your account, grow your network, grow your community, you're going to have to put the work in and put in some systems to be able to follow up and continue to follow people you want to build relationships with. So if you're not doing those things and having the extra work you're putting in, my personal opinion, I don't think it's worth spending the money, because if you're just trying to get followers, like that's one thing. But if you're not really getting to the point where you're putting the work in, it's not worth the dollars. I think if you really want to go all in, put the work in, and then decide to put the dollars in.
What do you guys think about threads?
Ooh, I I really liked Threads when it first came out, and I felt like the engagement was so good on there that I enjoyed it a lot. And then I saw this like massive drop off, um, at least on mine, and it just became where wasn't that appealing to hop on there anymore.
Yeah, I agree. At first it was like the engagement was incredible. You could just like really connect with people. And then for some reason my feed just like started coming in with all of this stuff that I was sifting through all of these things that I wasn't interested in, or people that I wasn't particularly interested in. And then it became like wading through kind of a lot just to get to what I did want to engage with. What about you, Mark? Are you still on Threads?
Yeah, I kind of just pop in there and I just kind of repost people's things. I don't go through it too much. Well, actually, I try to look for things on Threads and then use that on X. That's kind of what I do. But I enjoy X. X seems kind of more genuine, I guess, connections there. But yeah, I have fun on X. But as you'll notice, I just kind of goof around a lot and yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm spread too thin to. When it came out, I was like, I don't have any capacity to take on one more thing. I'm not doing enough on stuff I already have going on. So I haven't done anything on Threads.
Well, I think at first you couldn't repost people's things. That's why. So now I think that's a feature. So I just kind of go in there real quick and see something I like, and I'll just repost it and I'll quote something on it, but I kind of just use someone else's topic just to kind of hopefully get some engagement there. But, and then I kind of look for things and I just repurpose that and use that on X a lot of times.
Hey,
So, oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I put a link to the guides into the chat. So if you guys want to grab that before we get off here, if you want to check it out later.
Cool.
Right, so
Lauren,
I got like 5 more minutes. So I got to wake my son up. So
Lauren, I was going to ask if you have any intention of starting like a YouTube channel or podcast.
I mean, I haven't really given it a lot of thought, but I do think I'm getting to a place like work wise, I've been so like busy. The last like 3 years have been really intense, like just every single day putting all my energy into the real estate that I have. And now I'm about to sell my farms. And so not having those is going to free up a lot of my time. So I think I probably will start focusing now on that aspect of the business. Yeah.
So like day job, main job is the real estate stuff.
Yeah. I do it full time
Cool.
now. Yeah.
Hugo said he has 2 million impressions on X in the last 28 days. So thanks for the support. That's crazy, man.
Awesome.
And I think he's been using that strategy, like Joel was saying, where he comments on big accounts to get the impressions.
Yeah.
But I mean, the snack energy drink that Hugo gave me has basically got me all of my new followers, and all of my posts that have done well have been because of the couple of snack posts. I did have one that did well when I asked about like what financial concepts would people teach their 10-year-old, and I was doing that to get content for the curriculum that I'm putting together, and it actually did really well, which just kind of reinforces the idea that that's, people want that and there's a demand for it. But yeah, otherwise it's been the snack and the crypto stuff that seems to benefit my X account.
Can you build a Shopify store and sell Schneck and then
Snack.
just whatever it is and just talk about it every day and just like sell stuff from your Shopify store?
I like snack merch or like
Just
the
the
energy
actual drink.
I don't know. I don't even know how I mean, I think there's some places that sell it, but I don't know how you get your hands on it necessarily.
No.
I haven't looked into it, but probably I think there's some people making
Lean
merch.
into
I
it.
got some
Lean
DMs
into it.
from guys. That's the thing though, is like here again on the crypto side, like the dudes just way outweigh the women. Like there's so many. And so I got like a bunch of DMs from guys that were like, "Oh yeah, like I'll send you some free snack crypto like if you have a wallet." I'm like, "I don't even know what wallet it goes on." So I'm trying to
Okay.
figure it out. We'll see.
Okay.
So
Well,
can I set up a
we
Shopify
need
store? Maybe.
let's talk about so there's two things I wanted to bring up before we get off here. One, I'm trying to fit into my entire life this mini series of 100 stories of increasing income and increasing like a side hustle. So which reminds me, Sierra, we need to schedule our 10-minute call and then figure out what we're going to talk about, which
All
side
right.
hustle.
Gotcha.
So I have like 15 done out of 100. So I have a long
Well,
way.
let me tell you something that you sharing or you titling our podcast like t-shirts and whatever else is what got me merchandise orders. People started reaching out to me and being like, "Oh, you do t-shirts and stuff?" I'm like, "Well, I did like 2 years ago."
Okay.
But yeah, so anyways, go ahead.
The second thing, talking about like AI and things taking over and like content, is it worth it? Like one of the things I talked about is like your personality, who you are, your uniqueness, like that's still gonna apply and still gonna be relevant as time goes on, as AI wants to take over. So lean into who you are, your quirkiness, your OCD, or what ADHD, whatever you are, whatever how you are. Like it's an opportunity to lean into that and just go heavy. So, whatever that is for anybody, like now's the time to go all in. So your schneck, let's figure this out. Turn this into $1 million business.
All right. I mean, my plan right now is to get Mark monetized on YouTube and then somehow like ride his coattails.
Well, I'm doing a good job, Hyder said, because I'm beautifying the channel by getting you ladies on. And so, and Hugo asked, who's here for me or who's here for Sierra and Lauren?
Starting a competition.
Why am I friends at Hugo? All right, I'll leave Hyder's comment out of here. I don't want to...
Yeah, don't say that out loud.
I'm assuming he's wearing shorts, right? Because I mean, he's in California, so it must be nice and warm.
I think he's in Gary still yet.
Gary.
Yeah, he's doing work on their property they got up there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, you guys want anything else? You should get Lauren on your podcast, Joel. Tortoises and
yeah, that'd be awesome. So if we do it though, it's we will put it on YouTube. So like I need to be able to see tortoises. I need to be able to see what's going on there. So we gotta like plan in advance of having maybe a couple different camera angles and have it set up.
The way you get her on your podcast is by sending her comments that have winky emojis on it.
Oh, you have to bring that up, don't you?
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Wait,
I wrote Mark. I
got lectured.
Yeah, because every time he responded to a comment of yours about being on the podcast, he ended it with like a wink emoji. And I was like, Mark, she doesn't know if you're being serious or kidding or like walking a fine line here. I'm like, you got to stop it with the wink emojis. He did it like 3 times in a row.
Yeah. It worked, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what it did.
Well, when you're approaching 100 years old, like it's hard to figure out what's okay.
Yeah, when you're an old man, you can get away with so much more.
Right.
Whoa, I don't know how to take this anymore now.
Oh man.
Camper. Hey, you're not supposed to talk about that.
Well, I didn't even notice, honestly. I didn't know you were using
We have 13 people on here. That's more than I've seen the entire time. Man,
yeah.
people are following over to the end.
5 is mine.
Hyder is single in case any of the other lady followers want to know.
Hyder, I might have some Alaskan women I can hook you up with this summer. You just have to come. You have to come to Homer though. So
you said Alaskan?
Yeah. He spends his summers in Alaska. I spend my summers in Alaska. So
that's cool. That would be a good man. You better get your podcast up and running by that time. That'd be some good footage, scenery.
Yeah. No, I know. I've done a lot of cool stuff that I was like, when I was in my 20s, I traveled all over the world and I was like, I wanted to be like in the moment and like enjoy it.
You were traveling during COVID? Man, that was risky.
I was in Bali during COVID. Yeah. When the shutdown happened. So
I'm just messing with you. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, I would have been traveling if I could have. I don't think it was that easy at that time, but yeah, but now I'm into it. I just need a film crew to follow me around so I don't have to do anything.
Right?
So
yeah.
I'm recruiting you guys. You guys are my new film crew. So we're all going to Alaska this summer.
Hyder can run the camera.
That's what I should do for Vegas for the girls' night is get a film crew to follow all the ladies around.
Yes.
Like what?
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
What does
I'll
a
do
group
it.
of women investors do in Vegas?
No, it's women in a man's world.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Love it.
Women in a man's world. In Vegas, with a bunch of real estate dudes.
It might be too, we might not be able to show what we're doing. It might
That's
get
true.
too rowdy. We'll see.
Keep the audience in suspense. That's okay.
Hugo also volunteered. He said he'll help film.
Okay.
Hyder
Yeah,
said he'll be in Knockneck or whatever. Knack or something.
You, Mark, you gotta go.
Yeah, man, I gotta go, man. I gotta get my son up. I gotta feed some cats and everything. I gotta sit on the floor and feed them.
Hand feed them?
Well, one of them. The other one will not.
Princess.
One, yeah, she won't eat if I don't sit on the floor and feed
You
her.
didn't get her name for nothing.
I forgot what her. Oh no, yeah. I think my son left that. He changed the first cat. The first one when we got it, it was supposed to be Beyonce, and he changed it. He changed it to Kinsey, but Princess kept Princess, and yeah. There's next event is Caesar's Palace. Hugo said
Okay.
August 15th or the 17th. Oh,
What event is that?
I don't know. Hopefully he's.
All right. Well,
Oh, snack. What's
Hit me up.
Oh, yeah.
That was some crypto
All right. Well,
drink stuff. You youngins in your acronym.
dude, even I knew that. Come on, man.
Dude, when you got to like shave your beard off to show people that you're not 100, like it's a little hard to keep up.
All right. Oh, rare evil blockchain Web3. Okay.
That sounds cool.
All right, we'll wrap it up on Joel's. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for
Please
doing
don't
this.
turn that
And
into a meme.
I actually was already thinking about it, what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and cut this. So I'll send you guys if you guys want to cut all this up. But all right. Well, thanks you guys for doing this, and we'll do it again. And this was a lot of fun.
Nice
Yeah,
to meet you,
it was so
Lauren.
fun.
Good to see you.
Nice to meet
Double
you.
S. Mark.
Yes, you too.
You're old. Bye.
All right. Hit me up later, man. Bye.
Bye.